Recently we had Paul Stimson came in to our chapter up in Ogden, and I had invited Paul because Paul, as many of you know, used to tie for Gary LaFontaine. And I said, Paul, what have you got for a new pattern? And if I can get my box open. There we go. He says he started tying a Baetis Nymph in the most simplest pattern he could find. And I tied a few up after he showed me what he was doing. And most nymphs that imitate a Baetis are over-tied. They're tied heavy, and they're quite big. Well, later in the year, the Baetis are smaller. So we're going to start off with about a size 16. This is one of my favorite hooks that is very hard to find these days. It's a Mustad 3906B. B is 1X long over the regular 3906, but I have found, as far as a wet fly, nymphs in particular, that the Mustad is one of the better hooks that that I've used for tying nymphs. Start the thread on there. Like I say, I don't want to waste too much. I think I'm going to waste about 1/4 of an inch off of this. Everybody says, what do you tie flies? To save money. And after you spend about $2,000 on fly tying material, you find out it's cheaper to buy them. This is black crystal flash. One of the things that Lance was telling us about tying a stonefly nymph, about the number of legs that the stonefly nymph has. They've got 6 legs, but he only uses 4 on his stoneflies because it becomes too bulky, and he doesn't think that the fish can count that high. So for the tail of this, I'm going to use some crystal flash, and it's tied a bit on the long side. This black crystal flash. Trim that off. Next, I'll use some vinyl rib. This is midge, brown vinyl rib. Midge size and brown color. We'll tie that in. We'll wrap it up. Leave a little bit of space between each wrap to give it the segmentation look on the body. Then we'll use a little bit of scud back. I went out and bought a whole new packet of scud back today and left it at home. Anyway, we get the scud back on there. We'll wrap that in. And get facing backwards. Then I'll use, this is a UV scud shrimp in olive color. I just need a little bit of this stuff. And I mean, when I say just a little bit, it is just going to be a little bit on there. Probably got too much, which I do. So we'll pull that down. tie that in to form the thorax behind the head there. We'll bulk it up a bit. And what Paul used was a mylar for the body. But I couldn't find any, but I had the scud back. So I decided to use the scud back and get that tied on there. And we'll trim up some of the dubbing here. And then, like he said, the fish really can't count the number of legs on a nymph. So we'll do a couple wraps on one side. Pull that up so it sticks out the side. I'll take the other end here, place it up on there. And a couple of wraps of it, hold it in place. And basically it's got 4 legs there. Trim this off. Trim it a little bit on the long side. Crystal flash is fairly inexpensive, so you can use quite a bit of it. Throw a whip finish on there, a couple wraps. And most of your Baetis nymphs this time of year are, like I say, are very skinny. Over on the green, when the Baetis hatch was occurring in March and April, I used to tie a size 14 blue wing olive pattern. And as you progress through the year, every 2 months I'd drop it 1 size until you're into about a size 20, which is what they are during the summer. But this little nymph has a dropper under an elk-hair caddis, yellow elk-hair caddis, has been a good producer for me. It's just kind of a skinny, and if you look at a nymph this time of year, they're real skinny. But the segmentation on the body from the vinyl really stands out in the water. And a little bit of the UV dubbing also stands out in the water quite a bit. But those are my favorite flies that I like to tie for fishing up in the Uintas.